Good morning, everybody. Juan Solo here, and welcome back to the channel. As you all feared, I am back with another video. This time we'll be covering none other than Dark Lord of Killstreaks himself, Darth Vader. Vader in Battlefront 2 is considerably tanky and has a bit slower movement speed. Mixed with his running speed, dodges, and great abilities, this sets him up as one of the best, if not the absolute best hero in Battlefront 2, especially for HvV. Let's start off with his basic stats, beginning with his health. Vader has an above average health pool of 800 HP. While nothing too out of the ordinary for health pools, paired with certain star cards, this can take him to having the absolute highest HP stat in the game. Unlike most Saber users in Battlefront 2, Vader can regenerate 250 of his health lost as opposed to the normal 200. Only drawback to this is the health regen delay takes a very long 5 seconds before beginning its recovery. In heated moments on HvV, this can completely put you in a pickle if you aren't paying attention to your stamina. Vader's swing speed is a 1.7 swings per second, doing 130 damage in the front and backshotting you for 160 damage with the stamina regen delay of 2.25 seconds. While coming nowhere close to his son's swing speed, it's still a considerable medium swing speed, especially compared to the output of damage he provides. Vader is extremely good at tanking damage just to survive it long enough to dish it back and more, especially alongside his 3 abilities. Starting off with, we have lightsaber throw. Darth Vader throws his lightsaber, cutting through and dealing damage to any enemies in the way, doing 130 damage on the initial throw and 130 on the return with a base of 20 meters distance and an ability cooldown of 8 seconds. This ability is extremely versatile whether you need quick damage, combo damage, or just finishing off an enemy at low health. Things to know about this ability is that it can be used on the ground at any point while you're in the air. More importantly, if the lightsaber hits the floor at any point during the throw, it will not damage on the return back to Vader. However, if you throw and the saber hits the wall, there are some interesting properties. First, just like throwing your saber on the floor, it will not hit on the return back. Interestingly enough, the only exception to this rule is if the initial throw is blocked or if your opponent is standing close enough to you. Now, this is extremely crucial when it comes to aiming your throw to get the most amount of damage. Next up, we have Focused Rage. Darth Vader channels the dark side of the Force and focuses his rage. The stamina cost of his melee strikes is halved and they deal bonus damage while he receives temporary bonus health. This will grant Vader an extra 200 health, an added 15 damage, and halve stamina drain by 50%, all of which are active for 10 seconds with an ability cooldown of 15 seconds. Nothing too much extra to add on to this. It does what it says it does, and it does it pretty damn well. Finally, we have Force Choke. Darth Vader chokes a cluster of enemies ahead of him, dragging them off the ground and through the air to drop them into danger. All the way through, this ability does 130 damage, lasts for about 1.5 seconds, and has an ability cooldown of 25. Arguably Vader's best ability in HvV, let alone in general in the game, this ability is powerful for stacking any amount of damage in a short amount of time. Things to note about this ability is that you do have a 20% damage reduction while using the ability, also being able to block, jump, or dodge. This will help with performing your bread and butter combos or block any extra potential blaster or saber damage. You are able to move players while you choke with the right stick, or by however means you play, ultimately making you one of the best threats to force people off the map. You can be taken out of your choke, primarily with Han's Detonite, which can throw you off guard. However, the choke duration and the damage will persist if you are taken out of it. Lastly, and certainly not least with choke, is that you can attack during it. With undoubtedly the most damaging, unfair combo in the game, you can just outright shred anyone with. Right as you swing your lightsaber with Vader, pressing choke will carry the player in the animation while damaging with an extra swing or two before the player is able to do remotely anything. Normally when using choke, any hit administered to the player getting choked will stop the animation and they are able to attack as normal. Now, the entirety of the choke damage will be given, but at least the player has a chance after one hit to attack back or dodge. But with this exploit, it easily makes Vader a fucking menace. Arguably as he should be. Next we move on to Vader's star cards. Starting off with Furious Resilience. Darth Vader receives less damage while Focused Rage is active. At the highest tier, receiving a 25% damage reduction, ultimately just adding yet another buff to an already great ability, complementing an already tanky hero with extra survivability. Nothing real more you could ask for, to be honest. Moving on, we have Bonus Health, which Darth Vader has an increased maximum health pool. Self-explanatory card here. At the highest tier, it gives Vader a whopping 150 extra health, totaling to a monstrous 950 base health. To make things seem even more unfair, when using Focus Rage, this tops off to a ridiculous 1,150 health. Absolutely insane that they gave this hero so much health, for good reason, but insane nonetheless. Coming up next, we have There Is No Escape. Lightsaber throw travels farther. At the highest tier, it travels an extra 50% in distance, totaling to 30 meters as opposed to his base 20 meters. Good start card for catching people off guard with the distance, and can get some wacky finishing blows for people that do try to run away, especially shooters. Overall, great start card if you are skilled at aiming it. Following that is Punishing Grip. Darth Vader can choke for a longer time. At the highest tier, it adds an additional 40% duration, increasing it from 1.5 seconds to 2.1 seconds. This is one of Vader's best start cards in my opinion, mainly just because choke is already such a powerful ability. Being able to choke longer leads to not only more damage with choke, but just opens up more damage from your teammates as well. And on top of that, ample time to drop people off the ledge or to set up for Vader's bread and butter combos. Just absolutely insane start card. I probably would recommend this one every time to go in. Right here, we have Surrounded by Fear. When killing an enemy, Darth Vader gains stamina back. At the highest tier, the stamina regained is 20%. Overall, great card in Trooper game modes, but just doesn't really have any effect in Heroes vs. Villains. Personally, I wouldn't run the card, but if you were to find a super niche build for it, feel free to let me know. After that, we have Deflection Stamina. Deflecting blaster projectiles will drain less stamina. The highest tier, it adds 25% stamina reduction to blocking blaster shots, which is already a great addition to your amazing stamina pool. Again, another start card that I think is great for Trooper game modes, but I would only really recommend this in Heroes vs. Villains if you are playing against a team primarily of just shooters. Other than that, there's obviously better options for start cards with Vader. Following that, we have Intensified Lightsaber Throw. Lightsaber Throw deals bonus damage to enemies hit by a second time in one throw. At the highest tier, it adds 30% bonus damage on the second hit, or so it says. So normally both connecting throws would total to 260 damage, but with the card that would bump it up to 290 damage. Now, again, a thing to note is that with the card, the additional damage is actually applied to the first hit, contrary to the second hit as the card states. So the initial throw will always do 160 damage and the return do 130. Super good to know, because that just means that when you throw your lightsaber, automatically you get that 160 damage, which unless you have a choke combo going on, you're almost only gonna get the first hit of the lightsaber every time. Second to lastly, we have Last Gasp. Darth Vader deals more damage when choking 2 or more enemies. At the highest tier, it adds 50% more damage. Truthfully, I haven't really used this card at all since I've been playing this game, which around 2019. After they fixed it. After testing just a little bit, it can be good in HvV with people who like to team up, especially shooters, and outputs a good amount of damage, especially if you are able to initiate your choke combos. So overall, definitely an underrated choice for sure. Lastly, we have Fueling the Rage. Focus Rage has an active duration extended by 6 seconds, but its bonus damage is reduced. At the highest tier, the damage penalty is 5, meaning that instead of the extra 15 damage you would normally get with Focus Rage, it only does 10 extra damage instead. Honestly, this might be another underrated star card paired with Vader's other star cards that add damage resistance, and you get to have it for even longer and just tank all the extra damage. Just complements Vader's whole kit extremely well. Now that we got the meat and potatoes out of the way, I do want to go into some builds for Vader. Starting off, obviously, we gotta go with the try-hard build, consisting of Furious Resilience, Bonus Health, and Punishing Grip. First two start cards are self-explanatory. Extra damage reduction to an already great ability, and Focus Rage, and being able to start with 950 health for maximum survival capability. Absolutely incredible. Finally, and longer choke times as well with Punishing Grip, just to set up with teammates and add a longer time to ledge people off the map as well, basically just being an overall versatile threat. This is probably the build I see the most when it comes to HvV, and for good reason. Extremely consistent and basically just capitalizes on Vader's already strong abilities and overall versatility. Next is the Vader Choke and Throw combo build, consisting of Punishing Grip, Last Gasp, and Intensified Lightsaber Throw. Now this is a little bit more of a niche build, but it is good for dealing with pesky 2v1s, 3v1s, even 4v1s if you get lucky enough that you'll encounter in Heroes vs. Villains. So obviously, longer choke with Punishing Grip does more damage, combined with Last Gasp, which will increase the damage if 2 or more people are caught up in the choke. And then following that is Intensified Lightsaber Throw, which will maximize the damage, leaving heroes at or even less than half of their health if landed correctly. With the 2 choking star cards, the damage adds up to around 260 just with those 2 alone. And with Intensified Lightsaber Throw, which itself does 290 damage. Adding both of those together will cap off for a potential total damage of about 550, which is absolutely insane if landed correctly. Completely just takes a lot of the health out of them. Well, that's going to be it for Darth Vader. Let me know who you want me to cover next in the comments down below. And let me know what's your favorite build to run on Vader. Mine, again, personally, is probably going to be the try-hard build. It's just always consistent. Never fails to let me down. If you enjoyed the content or learned something new, feel free to like and subscribe. Also, feel free to check out my Twitch where I stream and play Battlefront 2 alongside many other games. Anyways, this is going to be Juan Solo signing out, and catch y'all later.